So you have launched ads for your e-commerce brand, you're following best practices, and you realize that one ad is eating up all the spend. It might look like this, where you have an ad set with multiple creatives in it, you're following best practices, but one ad is just eating up all of that spend. I'm going to talk about today what to do and how we think about this when it comes down to best practices in this Andromeda era. You really have 4 options, and anything other than this, do not do. But these are really the 4 options that you have. Now, there's pros and cons to all these options, and at the end of the day, we let the data guide our decisions. Right? So it's never, with a lot of this advertising, media buying stuff, it can't just be so prescriptive, right? I can't just say, definitely do this, right? There's frameworks. You have to think about the why. Why do these things happen and why am I recommending these things and the pros and cons for each of these options. So the first option is relaunch without the winner. The second is do absolutely nothing, trust the algorithm. Third is force spend on creatives. And 4 is make more like the winner. And 9 times out of 10, option 4 is the best way to go. But let's talk about this. So first, relaunching without the winner. So what this does is it removes that dominant ad. It forces budget into other creatives. We have to use the caution because you're fighting the algorithm, not working with it. And most of the time, this doesn't really yield any more net positive results. So we have the current setup, which is exactly what I had before, which is the current dilemma that you might be facing. And then here, we simply duplicate this ad set. We remove this, so we delete this. We don't have that ad that's taking up all the spend. And then you let spend go to the other ads here. And what happens now is the algorithm will reconcentrate spend and force spend onto the next best winner. And so in most instances, like I said, we've seen this not perform any better than how Meta already dispersed ad spend. So the reason why before that ad was getting the most spend, there's a reason why. Meta knows your customers. They know the buyer's journey a lot better than you. And so the more that you try to force things and try to just keep forcing things and trying to, kind of control the algorithm, usually it doesn't, yield positive results. But in some instances, again, we've seen things happen where, hey, this might actually work. You might actually find another winning ad in this ad set here. Okay. Option 2, do absolutely nothing and just trust the algo. So if spend is concentrated on one ad, ROAS is holding, the CPA is holding or improving, right? You have to kind of let this ride a little bit. I think a lot of people just try to cut things immediately, 2 or 3 days into it. Kind of have to let things breathe in this Andromeda era. And don't just be so quick to chop things, because I've seen it too, where it starts off like this and then the ads starts to reconcentrate yourself and then some other ads get spent. So you do nothing, right? You chill out, you let it ride for a little bit. And then when you act is when spend is concentrated on one ad, you see ROAS or CPA declining, right? Things are out of KPI and frequency is climbing. If frequency is climbing, that tells us we might be experiencing creative fatigue and if CPM start to rise as well. So let's just say you launch this and let's just say right now it's within KPI, this one ad. If this is within KPI, more likely than not, don't touch it for a little bit, right? I think the initial reaction, oh my God, why aren't these ads getting spent? You change it up, just take a deep breath, let things ride. Now, when things start to increase, right, your costs start to increase, you might want to, start to go through the other options here. But most of the time, we want to let things ride. So here's what I would do. If you're doing nothing, right, days 1 to 7, almost always do nothing, right? Andromeda is calibrating. Any intervention, resets learning, you lose auction data, you can never recover. Days 7 to 21, do nothing if KPIs are holding. If KPIs are holding, we are good, right? We just let this thing ride. But if we see, when do we shift from intervene to what's next is a strong winner holding after 3 weeks, then build a creative autopsy, right? And I'll talk about that. It's okay, this is clearly a winner. We want to create more versions like this. Really, we only want to react if after, consistent, days, weeks, it's clearly a loser, then we'll want to kill that. But again, most of the time we want things to just ride out here. So Andromeda is right more than you because it's scoring predicted purchases, not surface, CTR, or likes. So they know all the behavior data of all of the users on Meta and Instagram. And so they are going to know more than you. So doing nothing is the active choice to trust a system with more data than you. The psychological trap is feeling like inaction isn't earning the media buy. It is, right? So I think this is the biggest mistake that most people make is they see this for 3-4 days. Oh my God, I need to switch things up. Why is only one of the ads getting spent? Just let it ride. Take a deep breath. Now, option 3 is force creative testing, whether it's through using Meta's A/B creative testing or doing the one ad set method. So there are people that are, bullish on this. They do this method where they need to force spend on all of the creatives that they produce. I personally have not found this to be that worthwhile. It's a lot of work for really not that better results, quite frankly. So what you gain is that you get like statistical clarity. So if you get set 5 ad sets, one each individual ad you're forcing spend, you kind of control the algorithm and you feel like you're actually shaking things out and testing things properly. But what you really give up in this situation is algorithmic efficiency. So this isn't following Andromeda best practices. Performance, losing creative gets equal budget. So you're just going to start spending. So Meta would know, right? There's a reason why Meta's not spending on an ad that's not getting spent. It's because they think this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And if you just try to force it, then, obviously you're just forcing more spend and arguably losing more cash. Real world delivery, sandbox, not live action. So you're kind of forcing things on the ad set level. And optimization speed is static and not dynamic. Again, if you have one ad set, multiple creatives, you're letting the algorithm, the AI, do what it wants and serve your ads to the right people at the right time. With this, you're just brute forcing spend. So if you want to, when to use it, if you really need to validate a new format, like let's say, for example, you are launching all of these ads and for whatever reason, like only statics or like only this like one format is getting all the spend and you really want to like test something new, whether it's a new message, new format, new concept, new angle, like there's something really net new that you just want to force some spend just to see if I would shake out. Let's say, okay, yeah, maybe. Let's just say you have all these different creative types, but only statics are getting spent. Then maybe you want to kind of break out some videos and force some spend on it just to see, how those actually hold up in the account. But don't use it when you're anxious about spend concentration, right? Going back to like freaking out psychology, like you don't need to just touch all these things and change things every single minute. And let me just be very clear. There's such thing as over media buying, of pressing too many buttons just to press too many buttons. And don't use it when you're just testing minor variations like copy or color tweaks or like little headline variations. You're using it as a default every time you launch new creatives. Like don't do that. Again, there's nuance here. Like I said, in those situations where you really want to force something, you really want to spend something, okay, maybe break it out and force, one ad set. So this is the current setup, and then you could go this setup. And again, people do it, people try it. I am not a big proponent of this method. I'm just educating you on the different thought processes and my experience as we manage millions of dollars of ads across Meta and Google. All right, option 3, force creative testing. So this is just rounding this out. So the Andromeda conflict, creative testing and Andromeda are philosophically opposed. One is a static controlled experiment. The other is a dynamic real-time optimization system. Every day you run a test, you're outside that optimization loop. The data is clean, but it's not the same as live auction performance, right? So again, this is kind of going against all of Andromeda best practices, but creative testing is a scientific instrument. Use it for strategic decisions with lasting consequences, new directions, new formats, funnel splits, not as a reflex, not as a fix for spend anxiety. The cost is real performance efficiency every time you run it, right? So if you're just abusing this, you're doing this all the time, most of the time you're probably just going to be overspending on losing creatives. Now, option 4, really honestly, the way that we go about it, and my big recommendation is a blend between option 2, which is simply do nothing, and then option 4, which is where we use that data and say, okay, clearly there's signal here. Even if the result is outside of KPI, what this tells us is, hey, there's a reason Meta's spending on this. And maybe if the creative or the ad results are out of KPI, this is good signal, and let's create more versions like this. So make more like the winner. So what the signal is actually telling you here is when Andromeda concentrates spend on one creative, it's not just saying this ad is performing, it's saying something more specific, right? Particular combination of hook, format, offer framing, emotion, pacing, visual style is resonating with a specific buyer psychology that converts for your product right now. And that's a huge data point. Most advertisers look at it and think, great, my ad is winning. The sophisticated move is to ask why and then build a systematic answer. So let's just say, you have all these videos, and one of the videos that is working is this very strong hook. It's a visual hook. It's very pain focused, right? It might even be a very strong top of funnel video ad, and it's working. It's getting a lot of spend. Even if results are a little bit outside of KPI, it's getting a lot of spend. That's telling us, hey, Meta is saying that we're on the right track here. So what you have to do is make more like that winner. So let's look at the hook. Can we create more versions of the hook? Is the format, is it UGC or produce? Is it talking head, B-roll, static? Like what is actually working here? Then let's go to the drawing board and create more. Usually what we want to do when we're creative testing, we want to kind of like throw a lot of unique different hooks, like a ton of variety at the ad account. Then once you launch the ads in an ad set like this with all those different ads, and then you start to get that, feedback loop, you're starting to get signal, then you can double down and create more ads more similar to the ones that are working, right? So look at everything here, the hook, the format, the offer framing, the emotional arc, the audience match, all very important. You can do a breakdown and see, look at the age, gender, placement, if you're keeping things broad, like we typically recommend for ad ad targeting. And so really these are 3 ways to build on a winner. So iteration, keep the winning structure and change one variable, right? Same hook format, different offer. Same emotional arc, different visual, same script, different talent. If you're using UGC, you found a winning UGC script, like recreate that exact same video, but with like a different creator. Could be different race, different ethnicity, just a different person. Let's just add some variety there. Amplification, make more of the exact same thing, more volume, more variance of essentially the same creative, but maybe like different backgrounds, different product colorways, different faces saying the same script, kind of similar to the iteration here, but just more variety. And expansion is take the winning creative angle and build a whole new concept around it. So if you see like this length, this structure, this emotional, okay, let's create something that's like similar to it, let's like adjacent to it, but still net new and interesting, then you can test something like this. So don't just make more creatives and throw them into the same ad set. Have a systematic approach. Identify the winner, right? When we launch ads and test, complete the autopsy. Why is this working? Why is this getting a lot more spend? Then build 3 to 5 new creatives in iteration or expansion mode, right? This is the best way to do it. And usually we don't want to just kill things, right? Even if things are outside of KPI, we don't want to just keep turning on and turning off ads. Like let that ride and then try to beat that. What I like to do is look at the average of the account. What's the average performance? Okay, let's try to beat that every single week or every other week. Let's try to see incremental improvements week over week, month over month. That's the way to go about media buying. It's a scientific process, and work with the Andromeda algorithm. Don't fight against it. So really my recommendation and what I personally do more likely than not is option 2, which is do nothing and then let it ride. Okay, clearly this is a winner. Let's create more versions like this. And then usually when we're doing creative testing is you want to create a good chunk of them, which are more of what's working. And then you still want to open up some creative testing for like totally net new, of course. But this is really how you should think about creative testing. This is what happens when an ad's getting all the spend in an ad set. A lot of people just want to shut it off and they feel like all their ads need to get spent. That's not the case. That's not what we're seeing in this Andromeda era. So if you are unsure about your creative process, you want me to personally audit it, check out your brand and see how can we actually scale this. I'll leave a link down below to book a call with me personally. And at the very least, if you enjoy this training, I publish e-commerce trainings every single week. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.